Hey YouTube, so it's Friday afternoon, last Friday in October. The kiln's cooking at 102 in there, temperature 68, so that's doing good. Don't have to worry about that. It's nice temperature to work. Okay, so here's what we got. I have the log and I've already done measurements. Believe it or not, sitting on the bunk in its natural state, it's exactly it exactly has the pith in the center of the bunk, you know, the equal distance off the bunk. So I'm in good shape with that, so it's ready to cut. Now here's the problem, and I'll show you this up close a little bit here, because the other day we talked about this on the webs, or on the YouTube channel. Now the center of the pith, you can see it here. I don't know if I'm pointing at the right place because I can't really see it in the camera myself. Let me see this thing. Alright, I can't see it because of the sunlight, but anyway, the pith is exactly where the blade is. I mean, actually it should come up a little bit. So I'll bring that up a little. Probably somewhere. Yeah, that's fairly close. I'll adjust it again later. But if you notice, the saw head is hitting the corner of the log. So the other day I, without thinking, grabbed a hold of the chainsaw and started cutting that, when in reality, all I had to do was raise the head and cut that. So I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to set you guys over on the stand. I'll probably give myself about 1.5 inches, and that should be good. So I'll put you over on the, what do you call it there, the camera stand, and you can watch what I'm doing here then. Just to clarify, that cut was only because the Woodmizer frame, that the guard around the one wheel, was hitting the top of the log. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have no problem. Now, probably the Woodmizer, I think it's called Go Wide or something, or I don't know how all sawmills are made, you know, but I'm just saying, it's possible that any other sawmill would have been able to clear that. So I couldn't clear it, so I just cut it off. So now I'm going to cut it down the middle. Okay guys, so instead of being in a big hurry here, we're going to clarify things. Whew. So we can do this right. Now, if you remember in my video, I talked about a quarter of a cant like this. Of course, it was turned the other way. But the traditional way of quarter sawn boards now is to cut along here, roll it, cut along, you know, that which would be up here, roll it, cut again, back and forth until you're finally done. And that'll give you mainly quarter sawn, but then you're going to also get into rift cut boards, and eventually you'll have scrap. So that's not a problem to start this. So basically I'm just going to pull it against the dogs here. I'm going to fasten the log as low as I can, and Woodmizer has this handy dandy which you can put on there. And the one thing I wanted to say also, guys, this brace here, or this dog, when it's resting on this brace that goes across here, it is exactly at the point it needs to be with these attachments to hit the bottom of the wood. So you can see that hits right there. Now, Woodmizer put some thought into this. This was not just coincidental. Now, some guys had said to move this thing, that you could move the dog on the other side. If I did that, nothing would hold the dog up and I'd have to reach all the way down to pick it up. I think the best way is to put a nut on here like one of my subscribers was saying, and to use ratchets on them. I think that might work the best, and I kind of like that idea, and I'm going to try that just as soon as I get a chance to do that. Now, in talking about cutting this, I just told you how I'm going to cut it. But the center point of the log, you know, which is right here, in order to make all quarter sawn boards, you have to, that has to be the origination of the cut. Now, when I say that, I do not mean you're going to have this in every board. That's impossible. But what you need to have is somewhere out in space here, okay, somewhere out in this plane, you will have to have the sides of the board, top and bottom, equal distance from where the center would be. That's what I was talking about, you know, when it comes to rotating this log and cutting it. Now, I've given some thought to this thing, not a lot. I am going to start working on the tool for this, and that tool, you know, in real life instead of on the you know, on the AutoCAD, we're going to turn this log radially to cut it. And the amount you turn it is going to vary, because the first cut's going to be one angle, the second cut's going to be another angle. So I'm expecting the angles to either decrease or increase. I'm not thinking clearly on it. I'm not worried about it. I'll do it later when the time comes. But that's how we want to cut this. We want to cut it on a radial axis so we get constant, no doubt about it, quarter sawn boards. For now, you can see that, you know, the grain is going this way, so that is quarter sawn. You can see it there clearly. That's what I'm going after with my next couple cuts. So all I'm going to do is come up 2 inches, because I'm looking for 2x2s, cut, turn, and that's how I'm going to do this. Also, guys, because of the temperature last night, I took the water bottle off, and I'm cutting without any kind of lube at all. So I know that some guys said you don't need any. I've listened to one guy on the internet there who apparently makes his living with a Woodmizer, and he said you don't need lube and he doesn't use lube. Now, I'm not saying you don't. He said that. What I'm saying is I'm not using any today. Alright, so let me cut this thing up. at this point, you saw me make the first cut, and I did not turn the log, okay? The log is the same way it was sitting on top of the board that I'm going to take off there. But what you want to watch is that I turn it. That's the point of it. This is the traditional way of obtaining quarter sawn lumber. Okay? Now I said that correctly. I'm also guilty of saying I'm quarter sawing and stuff like that because the slang in America is atrocious. Our English has become some foreign language and we don't even know it. But anyway, this is a matter of I'm going to take that back board off. It's quarter sawn, nice. Take it off. I'm going to put it on the backhoe and I'll cut the scab off later. And I'm going to keep cutting that. Now again, 2 inches up from the bottom. Now guys, I'm going to consider that piece of wood junk. I might be able to get a 2x2 out of it, but it's too close to the edge of the bark. I don't want to have to fool with it. And I want more than a 2x2 for drying purposes. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me take you off here. We'll talk about this for a minute. Now, if I showed you how to cut that just now one way. Let me just lower the camera here so I can get it to look at this thing. Excuse me, guys. Okay, I think that should work. Okay, so cutting quarter sawn lumber traditionally is cut the way I showed you. That's how a lot of people cut it. But it's not the only way to cut it. Another way to cut quarter sawn would be like this, where you take the cant that you have, and these angles, if this is a quarter, would be on a 45. Now I'm just going to hold this here. I'm not going to do any cutting. So if you put it like that, okay, this is a way that you would, now I'm talking about a big cant now, a quarter of the log. This is smaller. I figured it's a lot easier for me to throw this around. So what they would do is they would cut like this. And I don't know if you can see that up close there. Man, the sun's really bright on me here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see up close, but on this particular log, you're getting almost straight grain there. Okay, now the bigger the log is, naturally the radius comes around and it changes. So on a small log like this, you can see these are pretty nice and straight up and down. The problem here is when the log is bigger, you end up with not just some quarter sawn, you also end up with rift sawn. So what they would do is they would make a series of cuts, and some lumber yards still do this to this day, lumber mills. So they would make a series of cuts through there, and that's how they would quarter saw. Okay, now I'm not doing that at the moment because, let's face it, this mill, it's not conducive to that. I mean, I can make a jig to hold that thing like that. All it would be is a matter of probably putting an angle iron right on the dog, just weld it on, or something I could bolt on. I wouldn't want to weld it because I need that straight edge, but I'm sure I can put something on there to hold this. That's not the issue. The issue is I don't want to have to, okay? But it can be done. Now, with that said, this thing that we have to do radially to be able to cut this, we are going to have to come up, and I say we because you guys are going to give me some comments once I start making this thing. I'll show you the mock-up once I get going. But what we need to do here is let me move this over. We need to make something that's going to take the cant and tilt it the way we want to get definite quarter sawn boards. So it would be like cutting it this way, but it's not going to stay there. It's only going to last for one cut, and then we're going to have to turn it again and put it on a different angle. The angles are the problem. I'm pretty sure the first one is 22.5. I don't know if the second one's 11.25 or not. It might be. Okay, probably is. Just throwing this through my skull here. I'm not doing any figuring. I'll figure it out on AutoCAD, which can give me all the answers. But the point is that that's what we're trying to accomplish with my next little project. Now I'm looking at this thing and I got about 3 inches there. And about 3 inches there. I'm going to call this junk. And then I'm going to cut the other one. Okay, so put you back over here. And I guess that's about it, because you guys don't need to watch me quarter saw anymore. Yeah, you don't need to watch me sawing to obtain quarter sawn lumber. I gotta make sure I say this right. Alright, so guys, have a good one. Had a lot of fun this morning making a bunch of videos. Sorry about the one with the backhoe, not the battery, it was It wasn't the battery's fault that time, it was me. I was trying to get up and I just grabbed the camera the wrong way. Okay, so I'm going to cut this other board over here yet into quarter sawn lumber, and I'll stack everything up and then we'll go from there. I guess maybe before I shut this video off I should really look at some of this. Let me take you off here for a second and you can look at the lumber that I have, the results. So I'm going to hold the camera on the same angle that the board is basically. Now you can see the grain. Very nice quarter sawn wood. However, as we come over here, this is rift sawn. Okay, so you want to watch how we do this, but if you're a purist and you're wanting quarter sawn, you would cut it here, and whatever scab you could take off, you'd take off. I don't know if you saw that. Right here it starts to be rift sawn. Sorry about that. But this is definitely quarter sawn. Definitely quarter sawn. Nice quarter sawn board. Can't really see it here, but this is definitely quarter sawn here. Okay, you can see this one brown mark here. Bordering on rift, but still quarter. Alright? And if you look, and this is the part that I'm after for my particular application. It's only because I've done this a bunch of times, I can't tell you how many spindles I've cut. You notice the grain, it's going all the way down. Yes, there's a bump there because of a knot, but it's going all the way down here. So I'm going to get some really nice spindles out of this stuff as long as I keep it nice. And what I was saying there about, you got to stack the wood and make sure it's weighted down properly so the wood doesn't do what it wants to. It's not so much that these boards are going to warp any particular way, but they may twist, and I don't want that. So I got to stack this stuff. All of this stuff has to be stacked as soon as I can get it stacked. I'm waiting for my greenhouse for my wife to allow me in the greenhouse, because I'm at the point where this is the only place I have to put wood right now. I'm going to have to build a building, and I didn't want to have to do that, but I guess I'm going to have to. Alright, so anyway, this is the results of it. So guys, I can't thank you enough for the comments and stuff on the videos, because I love the dialogue, like I said before, and I'm having a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. It seems like you are. So anyway, this proves my point, and now you know the truth. I know what's going on, and that's all there is to it. So we go enjoy our day, and man, is it nice today. Okay guys, I gotta go cut this. Talk to you later. Bye.